Hey guys, welcome back to another live trading video. Today we are taking a look at Euro Yen, looking at the 4-hour chart, and I currently have a buy position on this trade. Now, real quick before we get into this is real money on the line. These are real trades that I'm taking for you to comment on, to correct me on, or whatever you want to do in the comment section. These are real trades, and I want to give you guys an inside look as to what it really looks like to take trades on a larger sized account. I have 2.47 lots here on a Euro Yen long position. And I'm going to be talking you guys through this trade. So whether it's a winner or a loss, I'm going to be publishing it to YouTube. That is kind of the joy of these videos, is I really don't know what's going to happen, and you guys will just have to see as well. So Euro Yen, I've got a long position after price basically tagged this level a few times, and I really like the way we got this nice fat green candle here. And then on the dip back, you can actually see that on the lower time frames, we'll take a look at it in a second, we saw a nice little rally off that zone. Before we look at the lower time frame price action, let me just show you guys this. So we have a beautiful uptrend on Euro Yen. Things are looking really good overall. If we actually scroll out, like I said, this is the 4-hour chart, so you can see a lot of dips and a lot of rallies on this chart. You can see a lot of nice price action. We've got, if you look at this thing from a moving average perspective, you got the 50, the 100, and the 200 all lined up really nicely. So this thing is in a strong uptrend, and I'm looking for that trend to continue if I'm going to make any money on this trend. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the lower time frames, talk about the entry. But just before I do that, let me talk briefly about the fundamentals. So right now, you might know me if you've been watching the video at the time of making this. You might say, well, Nick, why are you bullish on the euro? Haven't you been super bearish on it? And the truth is, yes, I've been fairly not interested in trading the euro. I haven't really taken many trades long or short on it, but recently they had some really good numbers that sort of confirmed this idea that Europe in 2021, the second half, should pick up, and economic, policy and everything should start to look really good there for the second half of the year. We actually saw some PMI numbers that were really promising that sort of confirmed that idea. And so for now, I do actually have a slightly bullish bias on the euro, and especially against the yen, which I am actually fairly bearish on for a number of reasons. But the main idea essentially is that the Japanese yen is a risk-off currency, meaning people buy it when they are fearful, when they're unsure about market futures. That's sort of when the yen thrives. Right now, that's not the scenario we see. We see a market environment in which people are buying for yield. They are buying assets that can return on their investment, whereas in times of fear, people are buying things to conserve their money and to not get smoked by a downwards market. So naturally, this thing is floating higher. And so for me right now, this is just an opportunity to look for a pullback and to try and take this thing long. Short-term targets could be up to 133.43, where I've got this fib drawn. And yeah, I really liked this pullback to the 50 MA, also the 50% retracement there. If I just scroll up just a bit, you can see we've got the retracement from the low of this move to the top of this move. Nice little pullback to the 50. Started to see price rally, and let's look at the lower time frames just to talk about that entry a little bit further. I actually looked at the 15-minute chart, and I just said, hey, price is actually trying here. It failed, and then actually 2 more bars of strength there looked pretty good. So for me right now, where I'm at with the euro yen, I was willing to just jump in here on the long side, hoping to see this thing continue and to rally further. So that's pretty much the entry. There's not much more than that. And like I said, I shared this with members, so we'll pop up what that looks like on the screen. This is inside of our private Discord. There's a link and promo code down below in the description if you're interested in joining us. But with that said, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video here, let some time pass, and I will come back to this swing trade to see how things are going. All right, guys, so it is the next day. I'm taking a look at Euro Yen here. It is the morning after I took the trade, and things are working out so far so good. I wanted to talk a little bit about my entry and tell you guys what I have done so far. Here's a look at the profit so far, up $620 on this trade at the time of making this video. We'll see if that can keep going or if it's going to turn around and stop me out. But I have since moved my stop loss up to just a bit better than break even, so I'm sitting at a good spot here on the trade. I basically, if you remember, I got in right here. And you can see, I want to talk about something that is kind of cool. So On the 4-hour chart, we'll take a look at the 4-hour for just a moment. On the 4-hour chart, we essentially had the stop loss just underneath this previous low. So price had formed sort of that bottom area and then started to rally back. And you can see that's where I got long. You can see my entry was not perfect. However, I want to go ahead and say that the stop loss in this case really did save me just barely out of the way, which is really nice. So you can see I basically put my stops underneath this swing low, and fortunately price came right down to this area of demand and found enough buyers to shoot this thing right on back up without tagging me out of my stop loss. That's really why I use structure to place my stop losses. So I've used, in this case, the area of demand here. I basically pointed out that, if price decided to break through that low, let's say it actually kept going, then I probably would just hop out of the trade, because in that case, we could be forming a lower low, which is, of course, a bearish concept, right? We've been having these highs. If price decided to essentially break through that, it might just sort of break up this concept of an overall uptrend, right? So I didn't want to see that happen. And so fortunately, I stayed in my stop loss, not by much, probably just, what is this? Eight or so pips, maybe 5 to 10 pips there, missed my stop loss and then rallied from there. So always a good spot to be in. It always makes you feel grateful when you get that sort of scenario happen. But again, that's just part of placing stop losses in places that, I'm hoping to, or I'm looking to keep myself in the trade at all possible rates. So anyways, one thing I want to point out with what price is currently doing here on the 1-hour chart, we have come up to this area here on the trend line to the downside. Now this is sort of a counter trend move. So the overall trend is still up, but we've got this little counter trend that I'm looking for price to, hopefully in my case, break through. So I'd love to see price make its run up to this area here. From there, if we're able to actually get above this area, I'll probably look to trail stops further, because again, we've got on the lower time frames here, just looking from a counter trend perspective, we did have a lower high, right? So we had a higher high over here, lower high here. So the question is there going to be a lower high here? And that is why I've basically moved my stop up. If this does become a lower high, then I probably will bail on the trade right here for just a little bit better than break even. And that's my worst case scenario. I can't complain. I'm in a good spot, I think, with this trade. The best case scenario, of course, like I said, would be for me to trail stops. And what would trigger me to do so would be probably something like a nice move above this structure, hold that for a little bit, and looking to head up to 133.4. So that's where I'm at with Euro Yen so far. I'll keep you guys updated, of course. I'll pause the video and come back once something has moved again. All right, guys, so we are back on the Euro Yen, and before I jump into the chart, I wanted to show you guys this. There was actually some very positive news here for the Euro. German business morale in May hit its strongest level since May of 2019, beating market forecasts, while upbeat PMI data released last Friday induced restrictions. So this is kind of a cool situation to be in, because basically when I first took this Euro trade, it was a new experience for me to or at least new for the last several months, to be buying the Euro, because I have not been bullish on it for a while. But seeing these numbers come out from Europe that are sort of confirming the upward bias that's been going on recently has been very, very good. And again, it was part of the reason that I got into this trade. So I wanted to mention that on top of just the technical analysis that I did at the beginning of the stream. I usually buy things that are looking very promising in terms of fundamental analysis and going with that trend. So that being said, you can see right now we are up $1,600 or so here on the Euro Yen. Things are working out very, very nicely. We did, in fact, see the break of this trend line that I was looking to see. We were able to get above that, and then ultimately this nice green candle really confirmed some extra demand here in this area, which is a great spot to be in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trail my stops further, going to move stops up to this point here, I believe, just putting that behind some structure and locking in some more of the profit there. So what I'll do is I will go ahead and move that up, and then we will go from there. Okay, so I paused the video just to see how much profit that would be and just to make sure I measured everything out right. And I did, in fact, go to right here. So I moved my stop from where it was, slightly better than break even, up to this point. And at this point, I'm locking in just about $800 on the trade. So again, there's a look at the profit for now. We're at $1,600, around $1,650 on the trade so far. We have made some really good movements here in terms of progress for the bulls. You can see what was this level of resistance actually actually was able to break through that point, hold above that, and even now looking to test to try and break through the recent high. And again, this is just the cool component of trading with the trend. We've been going for this market continuation, and there we are. We're at highs of several months, right? So we haven't been, it's hard for even to find where we were at this point last time. You can see like we were almost there there. So this is back in February of 2018 is the last time we were at these levels. So again, just going with that trend and letting things play out here. If I zoom back in again, the idea here was essentially just looking for the pullback. So we went nice little uptrend. Price started pulling back. I liked the overall fundamental analysis there on the euro, and I wanted to get long against the yen. Sure enough, price popped a little bit here, was able to move my stop up to break even, but then from there, what really was good was this nice solid green bar that gets us nice and far away from our initial entry, which is exactly what you want to be in when you're trying to capture a nice big winner, is you want that price to run away from you as fast as possible so that you can start moving that stop loss higher. So again, where we're at, I have locked in about $800 on this trade. I'm going to pause it. And really what it comes down to here now is, can we effectively break and stay above this level here? Because if that stays above and we start to see the next stretch, then of course I will go ahead and ratchet my stop loss up a little bit more, lock a bit more on this trade. So again, $800 locked in. I'll pause the video and come back once things are moving again. Okay, so euro yen here started moving, this time not in the direction that I was hoping for. However, price has pulled back to a key level here where I am really basically this is going to be a pretty big decision point for price. So you can see where we broke out of very nicely last time. We got a lot of fresh demand here after breaking through this resistance point, right? Then we made our way up here, and hindsight right now is kicking me in the side a little bit. Hindsight is a dangerous thing, because I'm kind of sitting here thinking, hey, maybe I should have trailed my stop loss more and locked in some more profit here on the trade once we started to see price break through there. And of course, I can already hear the keyboard warriors, Nick, you should have done this and you should have done that. And I understand, it's fine. I'm not like, I know that those comments are going to come in, and it's okay because everyone sort of, it's easier to trade in hindsight. I do it to myself, so I would expect other people to feel the same way. But, it's one of those things. I'm sitting here, I wish I would have trailed my stop loss up so that I could lock in more profit, and I could be out of this trade with, probably $1,200, $1,300 on the trade right now. But again, that is not what's going on. We're dealing with the current situation, not gonna sit here and say what if I did this or whatnot. So I did trail this stop loss up to this point. I locked in this profit here, and basically we're at a decision point in the sense that if price holds this area and does rally, then great, I'll keep looking to try and trail again. But if price does not, if price breaks through this level, which it does kind of look like it's very close, right? You can see I would have liked this hold to keep going, right? Honestly, we had the hold there, and that gave me a little bit of confidence, and I was like, okay, maybe we see this thing continue higher. Well, now we've basically rolled over, and at this point, it does look like price is going to try to break down and probably stop me out. So just from a probability standpoint, we're pretty close to my stop loss. I would expect that price could stop me out here. And again, this is just me looking at this. In hindsight, of course, I think I probably should have trailed my stop up a little bit once we started to see this break above, because we see price rejected this area for a little bit. And then finally on this 1 hour close, we did get a price break above the previous high. So, of course, again, like I said, I'm going to be kicking myself in the side for things that I should have done better, but it is what it is. You can only trade, again, on the right side of the screen, not just the left-hand side. So anyways, I'm going to pause the video. If I get stopped out, I'll let you guys know. Otherwise, if we get some sort of push from the bulls here, then we'll talk about that. But with that said, I'll pause and come back. All right, guys, and there it is, all out of the trade there for just about $800. We'll pop up a screenshot of the trade in the end here. Things ultimately went pretty well with euro yen, but again, didn't like the way price was not able to hold this strongly enough to get us back to highs. In fact, kind of put in that lower high, and there it goes. You can see it's actually kind of even pushing past our stop loss. So glad to just be out of the trade there. Again, it was a winner, a great trade overall. Caught some of this fantastic movement to the upside. Just solid move there, followed by some consolidation before another shoot to the upside. And then again, just sort of trailing out there and then ultimately tagging me out for a win there. But again, look at this. You can see it's still kind of throwing down here, still pushing below. So kind of just an interesting spot for the stop loss, just around that flush point. I basically said, hey, I want to get out of this thing because it's not holding the lows very well at this support. So again, very happy with how this trade went. I locked in over $800 on the trade, which I cannot complain about. And now it is on to the next one. If you guys enjoyed these live trading videos, make sure to subscribe and like down below. And also, if you want to see my trades in real time, I share all of them documented inside of my trading journal, which you can find inside of our private Discord. If you are not already in our private Discord, here's what it looks like. We'll pop up images on the screen. And inside of our Discord, I share all of my trades, and there's a chat room, and we do live coaching webinars and all sorts of great stuff for members. You can find out more information and get a discounted rate to join the private group in the description down below. There's a link and a promo code for you to get in there for a discounted rate. So thank you guys very much for watching until the end, and happy trading. We'll see you back next time.